Hello, I am your new favorite JJ Caballero, and this is MonoStereoVideo, a podcast about movie music. I'm a songwriter, producer, DJ, and I love movies, and this is the perfect excuse to talk about music and movies, especially with my lovely co-host, Casey Goins. How's it going, love?
Hey, how are you guys?
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, what's going on? Hey, how's everything out there? Hey.
Yeah.
How's your day been?
It's been busy. I had a busy day.
I know you got, and then
I
you
was
just
doing all the things.
you just
today.
made yourself busier. I feel like every time we come on here, it's like I was busy. Oh, I was busy. Oh man, I had a busy day today.
I stay busy.
I know you keep yourself. You gotta chill.
I don't know how to do that.
I know.
I'm gonna chill in 2 weeks when we're on vacation. Possibly. We'll see what happens.
I mean, to be determined.
Mm-hmm.
To be determined at that point.
I'm gonna wish it into existence.
To be determined. At the top, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for listening to last week's episode of the Empire of Light episode. That was Empire of Light. We forgot a couple of things, so we'll plug those in right now. But thank you to our new listeners from Portugal. I saw there was a few
Cool.
downloads from Portugal. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe, and share this with people that you think might like might like this.
Laugh.
Want to listen to people talk about soundtracks and stuff. I mean, we're not the end all be all, but we're a start. We're a good start for people.
It's easy breezy.
It's easy breezy.
Girl.
Yeah. Doing that. So thank you very much for listening to that. A few things coming up. We're going to do a live show March 21st.
Okay.
Going to mention that just to mention that to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
First mention of it, March 21st is like the year anniversary of MonoStereoVideo, and we wanted to do something for the people, and I had that date locked in.
Locked and loaded.
Yeah. And I also locked in some other live dates, which I'm going to announce as we get closer to them and stuff. So we're doing that. Next, I'm going to put up a DJ, like Mixcloud mix show soon. So by the time I put this out, it's going to be Thursday. Within the week, I'll put up that show. I'm calling it Disco Caballero, and it's just a DJ show. It's just a few songs selected by me, mixing them in and out, and it's a fun time. It's a fun time, and I did my first one today, and I was listening back to it earlier, and I think it's gonna be something cool. I think it's gonna be something cool to put out for people to listen to and stuff. So there's that. What else do we have going on? We got.
I'm honestly in vacation mode. I'm like, we're going to Long Beach, in 2 weeks. About 2 weeks.
Okay.
So that's what's in my view.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just like the busy days ahead of work.
I know. Yeah.
What else? My birthday.
Oh yeah, your birthday.
Yeah.
We celebrated her birthday with some friends this past weekend. We went to dinner, and her real birthday will be in California. So that'll be cool. That'll be fun. Yeah. All right.
Right?
I know. It's always a good time for Casey's birthday. We always try to get out of town. Yeah.
Get out of town.
Okay, so I didn't mention that last time. I forgot to mention a couple of things about Empire of Light. First, I did want to mention that...
Lots of mentioning.
Yeah, well, Trent Reznor, this was a factoid I wanted to say on the episode, and I missed the opportunity to say it, but Trent Reznor said that Sam Mendes had requested 4 days worth of music. 4 days. So they did 4 days worth of music. that's out there. I mean, I don't know if it's out there, but it exists.
Yeah.
There's 4 days worth of music that exists. He said the process was pretty, well, the way he described it, it sounded pretty painful. It sounded like there was a lot of going back and forth, a lot of like, well, you know, you're just not, it's not good enough. That, you know, that type of thing where it's like, oh, I thought that was the one. And several instances of that, many instances of that, I'm guessing like revisions. Or, I guess certain directors have specific visions, like, you know, like exacting visions. But they were on that. I don't know. They weren't on that early. They were on that. I'm kind of mistaking it with this next movie we're going into. So well, there's that. I was gonna say something that they were in on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie early on. So I mixed that up with Empire. I mixed that up with Empire of Light factoids. So that's it.
Oh.
That's it. That's all I was saying.
I'm so confused.
I know. Yeah. That's why I was trying to like just say like it's nothing, so you can stop looking at me so confused.
So confused.
It was nothing.
I'm just gonna sip my water.
Stop looking at me so confused. Ay. Anyway. Next thing I wanted to mention, next few things I wanted to mention the other songs that are in the soundtrack, because it's set in the 80s, so there was some cool 80s music in there. And I failed to mention that because by the time we got to the end of that episode, after describing the whole movie, I was exhausted. I was very tired. So aside from the Trent and Atticus music, Angel Olsen's Go Home was on there. It's Alright Ma, I'm Only Bleeding by Bob Dylan was on there. Morning Has Broken by Cat Stevens was on there. I feel, you know, there was a few like cues that were real folksy. You Turn Me On, I'm a Radio by Joni Mitchell. And then we got Do Nothing by The Specials, that was on there. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that was it. Those are the fucking cues. Oh, and then there was like a Susie and the Banshees. Susie and the Banshees was on there.
And the Banshees.
Susie and the Banshees was on there. I wonder why they didn't show that. Why didn't show that on this list? Motherfuckers. Anyway, those are the two things that I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention on the last episode. But this week's episode, we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. 2023, July of 2023 release. My shit. I love this movie. It was really good. Ninja Turtles were my thing when I was little. Yeah. Like, that was my cartoon when I was little. Yeah. I had all the action figures. I had the van. I had videos. I memorized lines from all the episodes on those videos. I memorized the commercials that were advertising the other videos in that series of videos that I didn't have that I wanted. So there was like the red one and the purple one that I didn't have that I wanted, or did I have the red one and the purple one and I didn't have the yellow one? I don't know. Anything. Anyway, like it was like that. Anything. It was something along the lines of that. So this was right up my alley. They reworked the kind of like the timeline of events and the events, you know, kind of updated it, made it more, but also like more kid friendly, but more like family focused a little bit.
It was.
Gave a little bit of background.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a real fun movie.
There was a lot of laughing. The colors were really pretty.
Yeah, the animation was amazing. I saw this featurette. Well, it was. I thought I had seen some other featurettes before, but I guess that was about the Into the Spider-Verse movies. I think that's what I was missing. Anyway, it's I guess the way that they're rendered and it's like they're rendered a certain way in all these colors, and then they're kind of drawn on and like different streaks, and they're giving, you know what I mean? It
looked like almost like spray paint art.
Yeah,
like
there was a lot.
It was very cool.
It was cool.
It was a very cool movie.
Very New York centric. Very New York. I mean, Ninja Turtles. That's their thing. They were New York. They were a Hell's Kitchen thing. They were the original Ninja Turtles was as a parody of Daredevil.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what Eastman and Laird originally created the Ninja Turtles as like just parroting the Daredevil, kind of taking a dig at Marvel in general, and just like the ridiculousness of certain things, and it was ridiculous, right? And the director of this movie, Jeff Rowe, in an interview said that he wanted to lean in on it because he felt that post Batman Begins and like Dark Knight, there was a push to have superhero movies get like real and like grounded and have like this like
relatable,
no type of bullshit, no wackiness type thing. Whereas like Ninja Turtles, like they were always like a wacky. It's wacky. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's ooze, and it's fucking funny animals.
And it's pizza and it's skateboarding.
It's pizza and skateboarding and cowabunga. That's what the fuck it is. So yeah, that's what that is, and that's what this is, and it was amazing. What did you think about it on first watch, my love? I mean, we've only seen it once, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it made me want to see it again.
I know,
definitely.
huh?
Like after we finished it, I was like, I could totally like restart that one more time.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like it was just.
I know you wanted to watch it yesterday, huh?
Yeah, like it was a fun movie. It was fun, and
it was.
It reminded me of so many things, like as being a little kid, and then just the little like relationships between the brothers and stuff. Like they're all little teenagers, and just the stuff that's really important to them or that they think is a big deal. How that your mindset changes as you come into an adult, and just like it was very relatable, and it was heartfelt, but it was really funny. It was a fun movie.
It was a fun movie. I had a great time. It was written by Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, with Jeff Rowe, the director, Dan Hernandez, and Benji Samit. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg did like Superbad. They have ways to tap into certain things, and like the comedy of now. Like we rewatched. What did we rewatch? The Pineapple Express the other day, right? And it was Seth Rogen, right? Seth Rogen, but it was also like Danny McBride. It was the David Gordon Green, but you could see like there's like a Robert Altman thing, and Robert Altman, like he kind of started like where everybody kind of like talks over each other. It's like a more naturalistic way of speaking. It's funny, and there's offhand things, and there's a bunch of little wackiness happening here and there. I felt like that way of doing it transferred into like what like Seth Rogen and all that crew does, and like that transferred well into like this world. Like it was really cool because it was real natural. The actors all voiced they all did the voice, like they weren't in separate rooms. They weren't like siloed off. They did it group recordings, which I feel
that's cool.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more ensemble cast.
I like that you said that, because watching the movie, there was lots of times when they would be like, "Dad," and like it was so like like it was you could it felt so genuine, like you know what I mean, like and it was so like on time, like So that's cool that they weren't separated.
Yeah, I like that. I like that too. I like that. Yeah, I'm sure what it was like. They said that, but I'm sure what it was like groupings. It was like I'm sure certain people had to come in and do line reads and shit like that. But for the most part, there was like that. And Jeff Rowe kind of he stated in an interview that he's not going to do anything else any other way. He was also the director for that other movie, The Mitchells versus the Machines. He was the writer of Gravity Falls, Disenchantment, and co-writer, co-director of The Mitchells versus the Machines. That's that movie that we got that's on Netflix, and it's Abby
Okay.
Abby's one of the voices.
And she does the voices in Disenchantment.
Oh, okay,
She's
that's Disenchantment. That's Disenchantment, the macaroni one. Okay, that's what it was. Okay.
It almost sounded like you said the macaroni one.
The macaroni one. Ooh, I could go for some macaroni.
For a second, I was like, the macaroni.
The macaroni one.
And I was like, macaroni.
That
made me want Corner Bakery when you said macaroni.
I thought about that earlier. Son of a bitch. Nope. No. So anyways, Jeff Rowe was chosen because of that Mitchells versus the Machines. He was chosen by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. They had been attached to this and such. And what he says was, our music supervisor, Gabe Hilfer, knows Trent and Atticus's manager, and he was able to get a meeting with them. And they took it based upon being fans of Seth Rogen's work, of Evan Goldberg's writing, all that stuff. They liked what they did. They're normal dudes. I guess that's like a whole thing with this whole arc of this thing that we've been doing. Like that's a thing that's been on my on the back of my mind as I've been going through this, is that everybody describes like Trent Reznor as like this brooding guy. He's very dark. He's very what?
It's because you
brooding.
You're so offended for him.
I am very offended. I am. Because it's just shit like this. It's like, well, yeah, you watch this fucking, like, these are normal people. I don't know. It's just normal. Like, I just like to normalize people in that way. I don't know.
But it's just, it's endearing, but you're so offended for him.
I am. There's been
you're his little cheerleader.
Well, it's just, there's certain interviews that you just hear these people like, oh my gosh, like.
And it's like, well, yeah, I would feel like I would be that way towards you if you're that, you know what I mean? You get what you give.
Yeah, like I love journalism, and I love the fact that it's there, and I love the fact that it is keeping the public honest about certain things, right? And I love that there are interviews with them, and I can listen to a podcast and they talk to the blah blah blah, but it's just so like, I don't know, man. Like, so, like that's why I like podcasts, I guess, just because like when you get people on, they can just like talk and not like have to do like the same. But like the only recent podcast that Trent Reznor's been on has been like the Rick Rubin podcast, which it was a good interview. Which was, I'm gonna say some stuff from it right now, but like there's a lot of like Rick Rubin smelling his own farts on that show, so it's like, yeah, I mean. Whatever. He's never gonna hear this episode or whatever the fuck. But he does a lot of that. There's a lot of that. He's become that guy. He's become like, I'm the dude, and I'm a guru, and and he wrote a book where it's like creative, a way of, and it's cool. But I was reading the first few chapters. I was like, I've read this shit in other books, man. Like, I don't know. It's you're regurgitating. Just like, I mean, we can. There's all the other things that we can all learn from this ancient wisdom. Anyway, I'm so offended by all that. Anyway, I guess it's that. I guess like it's listening to interviews and it's like, oh my god, like what the fuck? Like they're just normal people, and I don't know. Anyway, it wasn't an automatic thing that they just chose to do this. That because they were like the biggest fans of the Ninja Turtles, they agreed to have these meetings, and they liked where the artwork was conceptually. And Jeff Rowe was like, they wanted to see a script, and we're like, all right, cool. So they went back and did some rewrites of the script just because they knew that they were going to take a look at what the script was. And I guess, they liked what it said and shit. And then boom, that, connection made. Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. That's cool.
Right.
That's cool to be able to be like, well, I want to see this first, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and it's cool that like, yeah, now they have the clout now amongst
right? Like,
filmmakers.
I want to choose what I'm attached to, and that's good. Like,
and they are working with people who came up with their music in Nine Inch Nails and such. So there's something else that was said recently, and it's like it's kind of a wash right now with this timeline, because like they were working on the music for it was like Mank and Soul, then like Bones and All and Empire of Light, and The Killer was in that mix. This kind of popped up after the fact.
Yeah. I bet that was a nice cleanse for them because that's a lot of like heavy and sad, and this one was just like it sounded so fun. I bet it was so fun to make.
Yeah. So exactly. So I just wonder where it kind of washed into like the timeline of it all. But I bring that up to say that there wasn't a ton of interviews or anything about this project like itself. Like there wasn't a lot I found in anything. I don't know if it's gonna come out like on a DVD extra or what have you or anything like that. But excuse me, there wasn't anything that they like said like was like a direct influence or anything on them about this. But this movie it had that feeling of like a John Hughes movie.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, very John Hughes.
That's why I was like, I wanted to watch it again because like those movies are very rewatchable.
I know, they're super.
And it doesn't matter if it's halfway through, 3/4. Like you'll just watch it at any point.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it has. It's a that now.
It's a that.
It's a that. But so Trent Reznor on that same Rick Rubin interview said, let's see, in context of Nine Inch Nails, in terms of an audience and the culture, I want to read this like in full because I find it essentially it's like the reasoning behind him. They're not planning any Nine Inch Nails music for the foreseeable future. Not saying that it's a done deal.
Right.
I haven't heard anything. I haven't read anything recently about them. Right, and I read this shit all the time. But for right now, they're doing this. They're doing the music for the movies, the movies, and it's cool. You're like you said, it's very cool that they get to choose now what they want to work on. And they really haven't given us shitty work. They've been pretty consistent. Even the worst film that they worked on, the music was pretty like, whoa, shit, this is fucking the Patriots Day music. You know what I mean? I know, huh? I'm just shitting on that.
It's because it was just not a.
It's just not our cup of tea.
That wasn't my favorite. Yeah, it wasn't my favorite.
It's not.
And a lot of them have been really good. And this one was fun.
Yeah, this was the funnest one. But I'm gonna bring it low and then we'll bring it right back. But he says in the context of Nine Inch Nails, this is from this article. In the context of Nine Inch Nails, in terms of an audience and the culture, the importance of music or lack of importance of music in today's world, from my perspective, is a little defeating. It feels to me, in general, and I'm saying this as a 57-year-old man. Music used to be the thing that was what I was doing when I had the time. I was listening to music. I was doing it in the background while I was doing 5 other things, and it wasn't treating it kind of as a disposable commodity. He said, I kind of missed the attention music got. I missed the critical attention that music got. Not that I'm interested in the critic's opinion, but to send something out in the world and feel like it touched places, might have got a negative or positive, but somebody heard it. It got validated in its own way culturally. Culturally, that feels askew. Let's see. I can't think of any review I care about today that I even trust. I could write it before it comes out because it's already written. In fact, ChatGPT could probably do a better job, or currently doing the job. See, that makes for what I feel is a less fertile environment to put music out into in the world of Nine Inch Nails. So he's just, it's essentially like, let's see, he's also saying, I think that's where some of the excitement of composition in film has thrust me into places I wouldn't be with my band. He explained, let's see, it's made me learn to be in awe of what music is and how powerful it is, and how much there is to know about it and how much I don't know about it. And I'm in awe of seeing these different ways it can affect you emotionally, and techniques and sound and soundscapes and things I don't think I would have come across the typical trajectory of being in a band. So it gives him more
range, more
room
like
to
tools
explore.
in his tool belt, more.
Yeah.
And that's what it like. I like that he says that, like in awe of like he's learning.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and for somebody that you think is like, oh, he's a pro, like, you know what I mean? But you should always learn. You should always want to learn something.
And that's the thing I think is compelling about what they're doing is that progressively their soundtracks do something different every time. It's the same but different. It's them, but there's a new sound that they're incorporating. There's a new way that they're doing this to make this about this movie.
Yeah.
Like to make it for this. And here, like in oh man, what movie was it? Was it Empire of Light? Maybe was where there was old synthy sounds that sounded new again. I mean, they do that a lot. They do that quite a bit, and in Soul, they do that in Soul. They constantly find new ways to fuck with the texture.
Yeah,
and it's like, can you do that in Nine Inch Nails? You know, could they pump out this amount of work in this amount of time in Nine Inch Nails without becoming stale?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
This. And I think it's also because it's attached to a visual story that it gives it a different life. So they're very lucky for being able to do that. That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think that's like a thing that I'm learning with this podcast too is soundtrack music. It's when it's attached to that, you know, when it's attached to something that can. We listen to songs all the time, like, and we repeat songs all the time, and we can watch videos like consistently and rewatch them, and we even watch like performances all the time. We rewatch them. I feel, you know, I sometimes feel silly watching the same movie a lot, but it's the same thing, and I've learned that that's the same thing now. It's like a comfort thing. It's like you can do that. It's fine watching the same movie all the time.
Yeah,
like,
I've done that forever,
and like. When you get that music and that, you know, like that attachment to that, just how culturally relevant you can make music. Yeah. You know, and how much music comes from movies and influences culture. I don't know, but it's a whole thing. That's why I like movies. That's why it's just like the highest form of art for me. Like, you know, I mean, I wouldn't say like Avengers is the highest form of art, even though there's tons of beautiful things in it and like visuals that are amazing. I wouldn't say it's high art, but the medium itself can be. And like, I don't know, like them being able to use that. It's a very cool thing. It's a very lucky thing. It's a very, I like that. And then just using it in this movie and just having fun with it. Reznor. It's a very garage dance punk fucking.
Yeah, it was fun.
Fucking, I don't know, crazy record. Yeah. It was a crazy record. Let's get into the cast list. And as we're doing that, talk a bit about like what the story is and stuff too. So the Turtles themselves. So we start off with the first song cue, and it's like a preamble, kind of a cold open, and we see Baxter Stockman, and well, it's not Baxter Stockman, it's like the ID
it's the TORI. That's
TCRI. There you go, TCRI. Okay, there you go. The Techno-Cosmic Research Institute. There's like some squad that's going to hunt down Baxter Stockman. He's an old scientist with them. Baxter Stockman, played by Giancarlo Esposito. That was pretty cool. It's cool that it was him. It was a small part, but a big part. Originally, Baxter Stockman was in the 80s cartoon, 80s through 90s cartoon, and I believe like in the comics he was like transformed into the Fly himself. Okay. And he was ultra smart, and even in like the video game, like he was like the first boss. I remember he was like the first boss in the video game, and you had to like shoot him, and he would like go up and shoot you, and you had to like, it was crazy. It was crazy. But he was originally the Fly. But in this one, he's like the father to a set of mutants who become the central villains in the story. But you know that happens later on, and he has them as babies, and they're kind of like there's a little fly that's like more older. He's older, and he's like a little more intelligent than the other ones. The other ones are still like in their amniotic fluid and things like that, and he's there with the ooze. And if you know anything about Ninja Turtle lore, the ooze is like central to everything. It's what gave the Ninja Turtles life and what made them anthropomorphic. And any other mutant in this universe had some interaction with ooze. So that's the jam. Did you watch the original movies?
Yes.
What's your relationship to Ninja Turtles?
So I remember, of course, watching the movies as a kid over and over and over. And like, since it was very like, that's what the boys could be into because they didn't want them to play with Barbies or whatever. That's like, I remember seeing that stuff and playing with it because that's what the boys had. Like they had the Vans, they had the action figures and stuff like that. And then, of course, when that movie came out, I remember it being called Casey Jones.
Like, Casey Jones. Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
So, but yeah,
Casey Jones is the coolest Casey. Well, I mean, the second coolest Casey. He's the first coolest Jones. There you go. He's the first coolest Jones. Second coolest Casey. Yeah, there you go.
You're silly.
Yeah. I hope in the so there is a second movie already slated, and I hope I hope Casey Jones comes out. I hope that's a thing. That'd be fucking sick. Ooh, imagine Timothée Chalamet as Casey Jones. Let's do it. Yeah.
Do you think they would make him like kind of like teenager-y too? Or?
I think they'd make him like homeless teen. I think that'd be a you know what I mean? Like that'd be a thing because that's what's up right now.
Yeah.
You know, homeless teen.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be the way to go. Yeah, fuck yeah. Do it. Sign me up. Anyway. The squad from TCRI finds Baxter's hideout. They attack him, not without themselves being attacked by the Fly, and the Fly and the other mutants, the baby mutants, escaping. It's a whole fiasco. It's a whole snafu, and it's our first exposure to what's up with this world. And that's when we hear the first cue, and then the opening scene has like the second cue, like the opening, like the title sequence, that which I'll bring up right now. But that was fucking cool. That title sequence was really, really cool. I like when movies do title sequences, especially like in this style. It's cool. I don't know. It was cool. It felt like a video game.
It was like a video game, comic book.
Yeah. We meet the turtles early on. It's pretty quick that we meet the turtles. We have Micah Abbey as Donatello, Shimon Brown Jr. as Michelangelo, Nicholas Cantu as Leonardo, and Brady Noon as Raphael. The only, I want to say, two of them were in things previously. One of them was like in like it was like more like short films. The other one was like a voiceover in, let me pull that up right now. I had it up on Letterboxd. So yes, Nicholas Cantu was also in The Fabelmans, the Steven Spielberg movie.
We still need to watch that.
I know, we need to watch that. I really do.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know any of these kids.
Yeah, he was in a Harold Arnold. Hey Arnold, the Jungle movie. Hey Arnold, the Jungle. He was in the World Beyond. Oh, The Walking Dead and The World Beyond. I guess like another spin-off series of The Walking Dead. He was in that. He was in one of the How to Train Your Dragon spin-offs. He was in a Viking movie, another How to Train Your Dragon spin-off. Yeah, he does stuff. Let's see. Brady Noon was also in that movie Good Boys. He was in that movie Marry Me, I'm sure as a little kid. He was in a movie called Family Switch. And then 2 Diary of a Wimpy Kid like animated films. Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Roderick Rules. So, Brady Noon. Raphael. It was Raphael. Leonardo was Nicholas Cantu. Shimon Brown Jr. was Michelangelo, and Micah Abbey was Donatello. They were good. I really liked them. I like that they sounded like teens.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
It was fucking cool. They were just dorks. They were like sheltered dorks. They were into pop culture, which I thought was awesome too. Like I like that hint of pop. Like that's what they get from the outside world,
right?
That they get, and you see that throughout the movie. Like there's references, there's different things, and their perspective is shaped by what they see, like on TV and stuff, and what they do, and even like learning kung fu and karate and shit. Like learning the martial arts, like they learn from TV, and I don't know. That was cool. So they were awesome. Iota Edebir. So we see them. They're kind of like a false open where we see them without the pupils, like Leonardo's like describing them. He's doing like a voice like that, and then boom, we kind of just see them like turn into dorks. They're like scavenging at the moment. They're just kind of like going through New York, and we see funny scenes, things as such. We see their father is Splinter, played by Jackie Chan. What did you think about Jackie Chan as Splinter?
I thought it was funny. Like
I really
the
liked
stuff they had him say, like he was funny.
Yeah, he was awesome. He was an awesome. I didn't think it was obvious, but when it was him, it was like, oh yeah, that's perfect. That was like the perfect shit, because in the animatronic Splinter, like it's like I don't know if that man was Asian, but like he did like that accent, like you know what I mean, like he did like he did an accent,
yeah,
and it's like I don't know, this might have been problematic, but like to have Jackie Chan speak like who Jackie Chan is and do what Jackie Chan does, that's awesome. That was awesome. Yeah, and he was funny, like he was comic relief. He was also like endearing moments. He was very much one of those dads in those 80 movies. Like he's one of those dads in those movies.
Yeah.
Or fucking what's his name? He just passed away. Rest in peace. From Friday. Pops from Friday.
Oh.
Yeah. And he was also in the voice in Boondocks and stuff.
Yeah.
JJ from the future here. I was talking about John Witherspoon. May he rest in peace, John Witherspoon. Rest in power, John Witherspoon.
But him, like that's the kind of dad he reminded me of. Like it's like this guy's crazy, but I love this guy. Like, but this guy's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's a character.
I was reading that they wanted to make like it was like he was very much like how it was with the first generation parents that come and they're like they've had all these experiences happen to them, and so they are very like fearful.
Whoa,
and, like,
that's crazy. That's wild.
Tell their kids don't do this and be scared of that, and like all the kids want to do is just acclimate to that culture and so bad.
Exactly what's happening. Wow, I didn't. That read totally blew through my head.
Yeah.
Like wow.
That's what I thought. Like when when they're.
That's a whole layer on this being in New York.
Like jumping ahead, but just like
no, it's fine.
How when they were all sitting in the room after like, and they're talking and stuff, and they're like, "What's one thing you would want to do, like if you could be like out in the world or be human or whatever?" And like they just wanted to go to school. Like it wasn't anything extravagant. They weren't like, "I'm gonna be a YouTube star and I'm gonna do this." They're like, "I just want to be regular. Like I don't want to be like."
The story of an immigrant.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, I just want to fit in.
An immigrant family. Wow. Holy shit, that's crazy. That kind of blew my mind. Because it's in New York. It's like that experience. Like, and the diaspora of many peoples.
And because he has an accent, and people just get treated different when they have an accent.
Right.
And,
when they look differently, when, Right. And they're not any different. They were just normal dudes. I mean, they were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but they were dudes, just nonetheless. Wow, that's cool. I mean, so you explained it. The Splinter induces the fear in them of what the outside world can be and can do to people.
And that he just wanted to love them when he found them because they were the only things that didn't want to eat him or kill him.
Right. And he met the turtles who were already doused in the ooze.
The goose.
And this is 15 years later, mind you, than the initial inciting incident in the movie. It's 15 years later. The lady that's running the task force, the TCRI task force, her name is Cynthia Nixon.
That sounds like no?
Cynthia Altram, played by Maya Rudolph. Altram is another like reference to. It's a whole thing. The Technodrome was the previous iteration of like another dimension in the original Ninja Turtle, like the 87 Ninja Turtles, and Altram was like. I don't even know how to describe it or what have you, but like all this shit is like kind of like combining things to make what this reality is from like other elements in like the old world and stuff.
Yeah, they just like reworked.
Yeah, they're reworking certain things. So Cynthia Altram, played by Maya Rudolph. Have we brought up Maya Rudolph on the podcast?
I don't think so.
No. She's awesome. I like her. I like when she does voice work.
I love her voice work. She's hilarious.
She's very funny.
She's hilarious. I loved her
Big Mouth.
on Big Mouth.
On Big Mouth, she was awesome.
Yeah. She's hilarious.
She was an awesome SNL star, SNL cast. She was in what's that? Bridesmaids. Bridesmaids. That I've been meaning to watch that movie again.
I can. Right? That's one of those movies where I can watch it anytime. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hilarious.
I mean, there's some Bridesmaids co-stars in here.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
true.
Yeah. Anyway, so all that happens, and the turtles are out and about, and they end up bumping into April O'Neil, played by Ayo Edebiri. She is a rising star. Because first,
I think she's risen.
She's risen, right?
Risen.
Yeah, she's a risen. She stars. She's a co-star in that show, The Bear. She is a voice on Big Mouth as well. She voices.
She was a writer. I didn't realize that either. She was a writer too.
Oh, okay, cool. Her and that one girl that are in Bottoms with they have like a web series too.
Okay.
Like they did like a Broad City style like web thing as well.
Okay.
And I think like that's also kind of where they were coming up. And I was just looking at she was in a bunch of like short films and stuff prior to like her blast off into wherever she's at right now. But she's rad. She's really good in this. She's a good voice actor. Yeah. She's
I like her. For me, I know it's not always a thing, but I was just kind of like, the boy seemed so young, and I know she has a really young voice, but I was just kind of like she's way older than them.
I get that. Yeah. In the interviews and stuff, that was a little wonky to realize. You're true. But I mean,
just because of the whole like the crush thing and whatever, and even though she doesn't reciprocate, really,
that's true.
Like she's more on a friendship level.
I wonder, like, if they just couldn't find like the right voice for. But I mean, it's such a April O'Neil, but I guess the boys are such a. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe they just couldn't find the right person. Whoever.
And I mean, I know some of the boys, it's not that big of a jump. Like some of the boys are, 18, whatever, but I don't know. Like, I wonder she's closer to 30 than
what about
20.
What it could have been, what's her face from Dr. Sleep, and it could have been her. That would have been cool. She's a good actress.
She's a very good actor.
Yeah, she's fucking awesome. Or who else? I had thought of somebody else just as I thought of her. The girl that played the voice of the young girl in Wendell and Wild. Do you remember that?
Oh, okay.
That movie was fucking cool.
I want to see that again.
Yeah, I want to watch that again. I really want to watch that again. Yeah, Wendell and Wild was a rad movie. Anyway, so they meet April O'Neil. They have an interaction because they accidentally hit her helmet with a ninja star. while she's kind of like interacting with them. They're up on a roof, kind of hidden away from people. She's interacting with them. Her little moped gets stolen. The turtles chase the thug that stole the moped to a chop shop, where we see like the first action scene, the first interaction of stuff, and there's a cool song that plays after that, which we'll go into right now. That cue is pretty cool.
Yeah,
that scene's really good. The cue on that is really awesome. I love like the action in this fucking movie is really cool. Like the different action scenes, the montages,
fight scenes, the little montage. The fight scenes were cool. I liked how they had like where they would go when they did that one, and it went through all of them doing their own little like moves.
Yeah,
and they each had their own little like.
Then that montage happened after they kind of win over they win over April O'Neil, and April O'Neil gives them like the lowdown on what's up with Superfly. Superfly, voiced by Ice Cube, is the baby fly from 15 years earlier. He's the main villain in this movie, and April O'Neil kind of like tips the turtles off to like this guy's causing some ruckus, and that whole montage scene happens as they're trying to find information on what's up with Superfly.
Yeah,
they get information. They find a path to go and meet Superfly. That scene where they're kind of like leaving the house, but then you see a Splinter kind of like be like, "Hey, what's up?" He had like a party planned for them.
Oh yeah,
Chris's.
I saw he was like, look at all of your friends, and it's the Chris Pine cutout.
Chris Pine. He's like,
he's the best Chris.
He's the Chris Pine. He's the best Chris.
That was funny. And then all the balloons had turtle faces on them. All the turtles. I was like, "Aw."
It's so funny. It's so funny. Yeah, that was really cool.
But that too reminded me of like how, and then how they were just like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna leave again," and I'm like, "But wait, like."
But teenagers do that.
I would be so
Teenagers
strict as a parent, like realizing certain things now. I'm like, I'd be scared.
Oh, we would be really strict
and
parents.
like it just reminded me of Jazz, my nephew, like how he just like Pam lets him go and do stuff, and I get it. They need to like experience things, but I would be so scared to let him go. And so when they were like, "All right, Dad, we're leaving again. We'll see you later," I was just kind of like, "What? Like you're not gonna stop them? Like ask them where they're going?" Like
we could talk about your nephews all day, but we're not gonna do that. But yeah, exactly. That's teens.
That's what it reminded me of.
That's teens. It just is. It just is. They just do that.
Yeah.
Teens do that. I did that as a teen. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure I did. Anyway, that was real cool. So they go down, they meet Superfly, and the rest of the mutant crew. Superfly, played by Ice Cube. He was real good in this. I liked it. They did a little bit of voice modulation, like a little bit of voice modulation. There was like voice modulation throughout this. The rest of the mutants that we see Rocksteady, who is voiced by John Cena. Rocksteady had a little voice modulation on him. He's the rhino with the big head. I like the song that they were playing. Hey, the Superfly. That was funny, and they're all just like jamming out like while he's coming out. That was fucking funny.
Yeah.
I like how the little monos moved. That was fucking funny. Yeah. Seth Rogen as Bebop, Warthog. Seth Rogen also the co-writer on this and stuff, but very funny actor. John Cena. I like John Cena and stuff. I guess like he's
funny. Yeah, he's a funny guy.
He's grown on me. Like, yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah, and that he's in the Fast franchise, so like he's ridiculous in that too. He's fucking ridiculous. The Fast X is ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous fucking movie. It's the most ridiculous, like crazy movie. Rose Byrne was Leatherhead, the Gator. Leatherhead the Gator. Leatherhead is like canon in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle world. He is like canon, like a bad, like he's like one of their foes. But voiced by Rose Byrne here, another bridesmaid. Seth Rogen worked with her on that movie, on that
Neighbors
show.
Or
no,
something.
yeah, he was right.
Yeah,
Neighbors. They were married to each other in Neighbors. And then in that show Platonic, they play like platonic best friends. That's that one's on Apple. We need to see that one.
Okay.
They say that one's pretty good. But yeah, Rose Byrne, the mother in Insidious, mother.
Right,
Yeah.
I like that she can just go all the way over there. Yeah. Bridesmaids too. She's all over the. I like it. Funny, scary.
Exactly. She's been exactly comedies and horror and
she could just be like, oh, I'm pretty, like you know what I mean. But I like that
she doesn't rest on that.
She's like, I'm gonna be funny. Like I'm gonna be weird.
She's like she can play the straight man real well, but then in this, like she voices Leatherhead. It's like a ridiculous.
I liked it.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Everybody kind of just let themselves go in this movie. That's what I liked about it. Natasha Demetrio as Wingnut the Bat. Natasha was what's her name in What We Do in the Shadows?
As soon as you said that, it made me forget. Nadia. Mm-hmm.
She's awesome. She's funny. She's so funny. And in this, funny too. Very funny as well. And I like the bat design too. I really like the Wingnut's design. I like the characters' design. Like all the everybody looks crazy. Like everybody has their own look. Even the turtles, they don't all look the same.
Yeah, I liked that they weren't all the same. I liked that like they were some a little bit not a little shorter. The heads were kind of a little bit shaped different.
The baby, when they were babies, they looked odd shaped. That was really
like
cute.
One was a big chunky one and then smaller. I liked that. I liked that they weren't all exactly the same.
Yeah, that was
their modernization. Awesome. Another
Paul Rudd as Mondo Gecko. Those humans, they got to go.
Paul Rudd. Like, he can do no wrong. He just can't.
Paul Rudd, Mondo Gecko. Like,
he was fucking hilarious.
It was so funny.
He made the movie. Like, I was just like, after he came out, it was just like, I was even more on board because it was just, he's fucking hilarious. He was
so funny.
I love him.
It was so good. If we had kids, our kids would be all Mondo Gecko'd out.
Right? Everything Mondo Gecko.
Everything Austin Post as Raphael.
That was funny.
Post Malone also goes by Post Malone. Austin Post. That was funny. I like him. I like his music. I like his celebrity, whoever he is. Like, it's fine. Like, my mom has a crush on him.
A lot of people do. Yeah. I like that he's not like, he's like, oh, you want to put me in that box? Well, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to put me in that box? Well, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a little bit of early cultural appropriation with, a little bit early on for sure. But, it's a little bit, there's some blurred lines there, but he's done some good music and
I haven't really listened to, I've heard some of his songs, but I haven't listened to his music.
I like that he does things. Like, he was on a ghost, one of the ghost shows that I watched.
Oh, that's true.
He was on an episode. You know what I mean? Like, he does shit. Like, he likes to do shit. Like, I like that.
He's just being a dude.
Yeah. Hannibal Buress was Genghis Frog. He had a few lines, but he had the Gucci goo. Yeah. Hannibal, he's like that. He's taken the Tone Loc voice in cartoons. He's taken that spot.
How funny.
Tone Loc had where he was. It's the Hannibal Buress spot.
You want that raspy, cool voice? You do it.
Yeah. Because it's like Tone Loc did a bunch of voices in cartoons.
He did a bunch
of voices everywhere. He was everywhere, and he's out like touring. Like, oh yeah, like all his old music and stuff, doing like legacy shit.
Everybody, it's back.
Fuck
Everything's old is new again.
That Mr. Beast made an appearance as a guy from Times Square. Let's see. Derek Wilson was a spider. Lucas Williams was Curious Goon. Michael Badaluccio was Bad Bernie. Let's see. Oh, that's Normal Nate, who was one of the bad guys that they had to like fight through to get the information, was David Faustino from fucking Love and Marriage.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah, he was one of the voices on there. Yeah. Married with Children, David Faustino. Let's see. Who else of major? Kevin Eastman, one of the co-creators, was like a good human. Later on, when the Turtles find out that the whole plan that Superfly has is that he's gathering parts to this big machine. He's not only like ultra huge and ultra scary, he's also ultra smart, and he's making a machine that's going to blast some ooze into the atmosphere and make everybody a mutant.
Everybody and everything,
or like, you know, get rid of all the humans. The humans, they got to go. That's the whole thing there. And tons of shenanigans happen as the turtles find friends with the crew, with the mutants, but they also have to kind of foil the plans, and lots of stuff happens. They go back and forth, a bunch of big action scene, and Kevin Eastman is like a good human that helps them fight like the ultra giant version of Superfly, when he gets
I liked it was Missy Elliott, Super Duper Fly.
Right? Yeah, Super Duper Fly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he was Super Duper Fly. Yeah. There was a lot of cool references here. A lot of good references here. Let's see.
Oh, that was the part too. When Superfly gets so the way they foil his plan is where they end up making the little machine that he builds go off in the water.
Oh, that's right.
And Superfly happens to be down in there. And so it gathers up whatever animals would happen to be around.
And mutates and
they like fuse to his body. And so it's
giant.
like this big, huge fight scene. And they have to get this one capsule to go in his blowhole so that they could blow him up.
Anti-ooze antidote.
And when they're trying to do this, there's a part where they blast him and like one little horse falls off from like his foot, and he was like, "That's it, one little horse. I don't need that horse." And it was that like we could not stop laughing. I'm sure I'm not even describing it in a funny manner, but it was so funny.
It's so funny.
So funny.
Oh, man. Jeff Rowe, the director, was a voice of in the background of like a scene while they're watching the kid. You know what's funny? Okay, it's crazy. Okay, so it's funny, but I don't know. It's weird. It's not like a weird coincidence. I don't know if it's connected, but we watched this. And there's a scene when the turtles are watching a bunch of people in the park watching Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Yesterday we watched the new episode of True Detective.
It was playing
on
loop.
It was the same scene.
Yeah.
It was the same Ferris Bueller's Day Off scene. That's weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The same scene. I don't know.
That is crazy.
That's a weird thing. That's a weird synchronicity. Anyway. So they're doing that, and like in the background you hear somebody's that's like he says I love being young and free to go places, and that was Jeff Rowe. It's just like a joke, like that, you know what I mean, like that the turtles hear him say
I remember
that shit,
hearing that.
Yeah, that was funny. You know, that I mean that's basically the story in a nutshell. Like they foil his plans. There's some endearing parts.
And then, like at the end of the movie,
getting
Splinter,
milked.
like
they're getting milked by Cynthia
Superfly
Ultram.
ends up making like this big old speech about why he doesn't want the humans and why this and that, and it makes Splinter realize like he doesn't want to be that way, and he doesn't want to be closed-minded. He doesn't want to deprive his kids of experiencing life. So like, at the end of the movie, they get to go to high school. And I liked how they all had their own little outfits too. Like one with the hoodie on, with the hood on. And then the other one had to be more like, look professional. And then, like, you know what I mean? I thought that was cool. I thought that was cool.
And who like Donatello, like, had the computer nerd friends, and he's like, I found my friend, and it was all the kids like on the computer, you know, shit like that. Yeah,
but I liked how they didn't really like, even though he was supposed to be the smarter, nerdier one, they didn't make him goofy or dumb. Like, you know what I mean? Like goofy. How they all, they were all goofy.
Yeah, they were all goofy.
But I liked how they didn't like single him out. Like, oh, he's a nerd. Like they were all the same. They just had their own little thing, but they were all badass fighters. Like,
they learned fighting from kung fu movies and stuff. There's a flashback to
and that's a total thing too, because I always read from actors that we love and just reading their little bios and stuff, and how they say like they learned how to speak English by watching English television.
Oh, yeah.
Like they just watched
for sure.
shows and that's how they learned how to speak English. So it's like, well, of course, like, you know what I mean?
American culture reaches far and wide. And then English is also just like it's a more standard language, I guess, you know what I mean? Like,
but it's even if when I always heard that if you know other languages and then try to learn English, it's harder than when you already know English and like learn. But it's like, look how hard other people like to speak English, how hard they try and how,
work. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Because it's a ridiculous. Like, English is ridiculous.
It is a ridiculous. It's a ridiculous. Let's get on to talking about the music. So, there's a bunch of songs on here. There's 30 some tunes. There's some like smaller blips here and there. So we're gonna do more like favorites this time around as well. And my like, what was your first favorite, or what do you want to start off with?
Like my favorite, or do you want to go like kind of down the
sequential
list?
favorites? Sequential favorite.
Well, I mean, I'll just go through like in order of how I did them because I go from 1 to like 9.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, go for it.
Because I do like the opening song.
Oh yeah. Okay, there we go. So
A Man in the Basement.
The Man in the Basement. It already starts industrial.
Yeah, very 9 Inch Nails. I was just like, fuck yeah, like that was. It was a good way to open up the movie. Like, this is what we're doing.
Even more than Watchmen.
I was like, why does he keep pausing? And then
because the swallowing and then that do. Even more than Watchmen, this movie's had John Carpenter's things in it, and I felt this was super John Carpenter. But it was also, there was like those 3 notes that, you know, the guitaring and stuff like that.
The guitaring.
Yeah. That was cool. That was cool. The next one was my, I think my second favorite, New Form of Life Itself, and it kind of comes back later, like as another cue, but New Form of Life Itself, and that's the opening credit scene song. The yeah, I like that. Like super techno percussion, super like, and then like the kick was like very like, it was old, like dusty sounding drum machines, you know, like older sound stuff.
Tuppity.
Yeah, and there was like like very analog, but new. You know, I don't know. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
What was your next?
I mean, mine's 9. We Only Need Each Other.
I like that one too.
It was very like minimal, but I liked it. It was very 80s, very synth. They reminded me of Lost Boys.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Like I found it sounds like those it's like 80s synthy pillow ambient sound. Like they sound like pillows, but they're like woo, like they're like wom wom wom, but also I don't know, like they're not chimes of bells. They're like the tails of bell chimes, kind of. I don't know. Like I don't know. I like that. I like that too. That was really cool. Like and that's what made it that's what made the like, yeah. It made it sound like a we go that gave it that nostalgic 80s 90s feeling in movies. Yeah. It gave it that, and it even, you know, the sound itself had that little like diffusion at the end, like as if you're watching a movie on VHS and the sound is catching up with, like the tape on the sound is catching up with itself, or it has like that warbling on it. That sound had a little bit of that on it if you kind of listen in, like, and I think that gives it like a lo-fi garagey, like, feeling. Cool. Yeah, that was cool. Next song. I
did the very next one, Grand Theft Ice Cream Truck. I liked that one.
Because that was also
like lots of guitar, sounded super 9 Inch Nails.
Super slow, 9 Inch Nails, John Carpenter, then live drums. Then like that's what I liked about this too. That's why it was like garage punky. It was
there
live
was a lot
drums.
of songs where I was like, ooh, I like the drums.
That one was super. Yeah, like if there was like a John Carpenter drum booming sound. I think Carpenter, to me, this had, because it's New York. Like Escape from New York. Like I felt like that. Like I felt like if you're gonna pull sound, like let's pull sound from things that are New York. And it's like Escape from New York is like essential to that. Yeah. I put number 4. Number 3 is the song titles are also really cool. Number 3 is called Dipshits on a Roof. But number 4, Murder the Shreks. That's another dance punky, live drummy, you know what I mean? Very like more of a shuffle. I kind of put like, it was like it's like the M20 Moog bass. No, mini. What the fuck is it? Korg, like an M20 Korg bass synth. That's what I think it was. But I put it kind of sounded like Queens of the Stone Age.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I put on there. Number 5 is Maybe One Day. It's another software. It's not on my list. What was your next one on your list?
I have the Tiger Raff. That one was lots of cool. Like it sounded cool and it was funky and it was low key. Yeah. I liked that one a lot.
That was cool. That was a cool cue.
I wrote down I Just Met You and You Almost Killed Me because it was just like I liked that synth and the warbling and like it was real fast.
Yeah. I like that too.
Yeah.
These weren't my favorite, but I need to mention like the worst, like what's the worst that could happen and the worst that could happen. What's the worst that could happen was cool. It had like a nice like hugging piano. And then I like how they brought like live jazz kind of back in the worst that could happen.
Yeah.
That was cool. My next, let's see, we already talked about We Only Need Each Other, Grand Theft, Ice Cream Truck, Megamind Groove type shit.
That one was another one where I was like, okay, that one's my favorite.
Yeah.
I liked the drum and it sounded like cool, like real gamey and
that sounded like LCD sound system to me.
Yeah, I liked it. And then it was just I liked the names of the songs because it was like, I remember when that song played. Like it was just like the funny parts of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, there's TCR, Techno-Cosmic Research Institute is another one. I Just Mentioned You Killed Me. Accept Us and Puke Girl, that was funny. April O'Neil's called Puke Girl in this. It's pretty funny. Let's see.
I wrote down the Gucci Goo. That
was cool. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, and that's when that happened. Like that whole car chase sequence. Yeah, that whole car chase thing. That was a really good one. Enter the 37th Chamber. That's the one I put. I thought that was like blasting, like industrial, but very like Atari Teenage Riot, another band we've talked about on this podcast before. And I know that Trent Reznor is a fan of like their music and stuff. Okay. So like that type of like blasting industrial garage shit like that. I love that shit. I love that. This soundtrack was full of that. Yeah, that was cool.
It was good.
What's your next one?
The next one after that I wrote was I Don't Need That Horse. And I liked how it was just that when it kept doing that. I liked that.
Yeah. There was a lot of that. No. I'm thinking of The Killer. Next week's episode, The Killer. I'm thinking of that. But there's some of that, right? Like some of the whomping on that, like from like Gone Girl that kind of plays into that. There are some like more.
You could see the connection between all the movies and then like the slower stuff. Like you could just feel it. Like they're getting like they're so good at doing moods. And I know I say that all the time. Like they're just so good at putting the mood in. But it's like they're building their like this is us and like you can tell like
they have a template, but it's not stale.
Yeah, no, like, not at all.
They start somewhere and they let themselves go change whatever thing they need to do and pull. They can do something like this where it's like way over the top and there's like so many sounds. There's so many synths just layered on top of each other. Like even though that LCD sounds, the Megamind Groove type shit, even though it is like a basic groove, it like pivots between different synth sounds, playing different.
It's thick.
Yeah, it's very thick with melody, and they're playing different melodies, and they bounce back and forth. That it's very technical sounding, like techno sounding, techno.
Yeah. Very 8-bit, like game.
Yeah, but they can do something like that, and they could do Bones and All.
Yeah,
sparse guitar, pull back,
right? Like
but the same
a few notes,
the same notes. The like there's some. I need to learn how to, by The Killer. I'm gonna play something, and it's gonna be like, okay, this is the key. I'm gonna figure it out by The Killer episode. I'm gonna fucking figure that shit out. That's a thing. That's my next thing. But they do that, and I don't know, like the way they adopted it for this movie, the way that they made it fun themselves, like they contributed to how fun this movie was.
Yeah,
like
and like how fun, like to be a younger kid and seeing this movie and like, oh, this is my new favorite movie, and like it has such cool.
It would have been my favorite.
Like, it has such cool music to go with it.
Exactly. What's your next one, Milo?
I wrote down Better Than Mark Ruffalo because I remembered that scene in the movie too, and I liked how it was like it felt thoughtful and the twinkling, and it was very charming. Like I liked it.
That was a note made, or a thing said by Jeff Rowe in that interview, was that their whole reference was like their reference point is like, you know, the Hulk saved New York in Avengers. They would have seen Avengers. They would have seen the effects of, okay, everybody was scared of the Hulk, but they saw that he saved them in New York in the Avengers.
So you gotta be like, better than.
So we can do that too, and people won't see us like monsters. Like that was his line of logic, and like making them as involved in pop culture as they were, and also like just the way that they speak like kids now, but also 90s kids, like that, you know, that was really cool. That was, I like how they did that. My Better Than Mark Ruffalo was my next one, and then my next, like, Conveniently Placed Pizza Van was where the
that one was. I wrote down it was fun. It was a lot of techno, the guitar, the synth.
That was cool. Attack on Titan was. It's like Trent Atticus did like an anime song. That's fucking cool.
Like it's cool that I wrote down that one.
Like it's cool that they could do that. And then they end like it's like happy ending, Sewer Home, and then Annie Up. They do their own version of like a fucking lo-fi hip hop, like backpack hip hop song. Like that's what Trent Atticus can do. Like in this medium is fucking cool. Like they can make hip hop music on this, because in this context it makes all the sense in the world. Yeah, to have a hip hop song in New York. You know, that soundtrack's awesome. It's really, really cool. It's really, like you're saying, thick. It's really layered. It's simple in the groove, and like there are like it is industrial music, right? It is garage, like
I felt like it was very like that, but for kids. Like it was still like easy and fun, and it wasn't ominous, and like even the songs that were supposed to be more like, oh, these are the bad guy songs, or this happened during the bad guy. It wasn't like on Girl with the Dragon Tattoo where you felt that sense of doom, like you know what I mean? It was still like we're having fun. You know what I mean?
Yep. I'm with you on that.
And even like the fight scenes, like, okay, we haven't done this before. Like, how are we going to do this? And it was still like, it was funny, but they got through it. Like they did it wrong, but they still did it.
I love that. I loved it. Loved it. So now I want to go through every soundtrack, like every song, every cue that was in there that wasn't part of the score. But amongst all these, like, this score was amazing. Like, Trent Atticus did really good work. I don't know if I'm not looking hard enough, if they do have more interviews and stuff out there. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know how much it helps me learning from them, like watching the interviews, I guess. Like, I liked the interviews that they did while talking about Watchmen, because it did seem like they were having fun, and there was like an example of them playing something and kind of showing it. I like that. I like watching people in the studio playing and making the shit. Yeah. So like if there's ever any footage of them in the studio making and playing this shit, there is like for Social Network and stuff. If there's anything here, I hope it comes out.
Yeah.
I would love to have like a Blu-ray of this and have that on there. You know what I mean? Like love to see them having fun making this. Like,
yeah.
Not so much like I don't really care these questions that they ask them about. Oh, where'd you find it? Like, it's a texture that you found. Like they already said the same thing. There's textures, and like I just want to see them making it and see them discovering it. And probably won't ever get that chance, but it sounds like so much fun to just. I mean, as a studio person, I know how fun it's not to just to normal people. Like I know it's boring just doing the same thing and just repeating the same shit over and over again, but for nerds, like I'm sure it's like so fun.
For sure.
I'm sure it's so fun. Yeah. All right, so MOP's Annie Up was on here. Annie Up. Yep. I know De La Soul. It's an Otis Redding, like a sample on that. Let's see. They do make a callback to the Ninja Rap by Vanilla Ice. The Ninja.
I remember
rap.
hearing that. Go Ninja.
Go Ninja. Go. Go Ninja. Go Ninja. Go. Go. I want to watch those movies now, I guess. I don't know.
Aren't they? We can find
I think
them?
they're on Paramount, actually. Yeah. Riot by Hugh Masekela. Let's see. Cavern by Liquid. That's the Liquid. It was also Dance by ESG. The Liquid and ESG like dance punk, like that's that. I don't know. This soundtrack, this movie's my shit. This movie is very my shit. Like, it's so my shit. This and Mank have been such my shit. Like, in these rewatches. And Lost Highway, oh, I don't know. All my shit. See, No Diggity, that was a cool cue in there. They played No Diggity by Blackstreet. They said that one was a hard one to license, and they were going to go with something else, but they I guess they like did the extra work to get the licensing to No Diggity because it was better. See, Wake Up in the Sky by Gucci Mane, Shimmy Shimmy Ya by ODB. That's awesome. Can I Kick It by Tribe Called Quest. That was also in the trailer.
Yeah, that one was. Yeah, I like that song.
Feel Me Flow by Naughty by Nature. That was I love hearing that. Not a Player. I just crushed. Still Not a Player by Big Pun. I love that. Sweet Premium Wine by KMD. KMD was MF Doom's old crew, like his first like rap group.
Okay.
Party Up by DMX. Woo-ha, got y'all in check by Busta Rhymes. Everything is Everything, Lauryn Hill. Work by Gangstar. I love Gangstar. Brooklyn Zoo by ODB also, and then 2 Cups of Blood by Gravediggers. That's a good one. That's a good official. And that was like shared by the official Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem soundtrack playlist on Spotify. Fuck Spotify. But if you're listening to this on Spotify, I hope you're not paying them. If you're not, cool, awesome. Either way, what are your final words? Any final parting words on the movie? Any final things on the soundtrack, on the film?
No, I liked, like it's how I said, I liked all the colors.
It was very pretty.
Yeah, I liked how they didn't look all the same.
Yeah.
And I liked that it wasn't like, oh, okay, she's a love interest. Like, they're just friends.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna have crushes on people, and it doesn't mean that you have to fall in love with everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I liked how, he was gonna have a crush, but they're gonna move on and it'll be fine because they're gonna be friends. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I liked that was cool. Because growing up, it was always just like, you feel left out because those things aren't happening for you. So it's just like, it doesn't need to be like that. Or like when I see little girls carrying baby dolls with a little fucking baby carrier and like the whole shebang, like they're a mom, like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm like, no, like you're a baby. Yeah. Like, why are you trying to have a baby? Like, no. My baby. So I like that they just wanted to be kids. Like, they just wanted to be kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
I like that. I like that. The angle of this,
they weren't trying to grow up. They weren't trying to be adults. They just wanted to be kids. I loved that.
Yeah. Awesome movie. Real good movie. Yeah. That was awesome. I liked it. I liked it a lot. The soundtrack was real good. Trent and Atticus fucking...
They did a good job.
They did a great job.
So fun.
They had so much fun with it. Very garage punky. Let's see if there was like any sort of accolades or anything I missed. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, the music supervisor knew their manager. Let's see. Oh yeah, 49 Blondes, What's Up? Was also a prominent song in here. I didn't bring that up. I know and then it transitioned into the He-Man remix of the song by Slack Circus. So I guess that was like a viral thing that had happened. So that's why they put that in here. So yeah. But let's see. This was released on the Null Corporation label. Let's see what else. It garnered a lot of. Let's see. The score was very electric. A lot of. They called it dazzling, killer. Let's see, what else did they call it? Matching the sense of rocket-fueled propulsion is a bursting, acid-bathed industrial score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, which mirrors the film's dark, neon-jagged color palette while restlessly clamoring with its same defining sense of impassioned creativity and relentless forward momentum. That's a good one. That was a good one. That was good. It charted. Let's see, on the new UK albums, it charted on the UK scores and stuff. Yeah, it's awesome. The music was real good. The other, like, the song cues, the pop music cues were awesome. I'm glad they included all that New York flavor. The language of the music, yeah, it's a very beautiful movie. Even I think a thing I wanted to point out, like, it kind of reminded me like a Basquiat painting. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hip hop, it's high art, it's you know what I mean? Like, it was everywhere, and it was like a smudge of everything. So I like that. Yep, good movie. We're almost at the end of Trent and Atticus land. We're on this is the second last movie. We're on the last movie next week, The Killer. They return to David Fincher land. We're gonna cover the one that comes out in April, Challengers. We're gonna cover that. We're gonna have to see it opening weekend. I really want to do that, and want to cover that when that comes out. But not out yet though. That's another Luca movie. But their return to Fincherland, we just saw that recently last night. I wish I would have seen this one in the theater, and I wish I would have seen The Killer in the theater. There were some things on The Killer that would have helped it being in the theater.
Yeah. A lot of sounds.
Yeah, there was some sound stuff that, like those muffle and when it would go back. Yeah. That would have been cool. But we're gonna talk The Killer next week, and we'll be finished with Trent and Atticus, and then we'll give our final thoughts on everything, and then we'll let you know what the next series is. And yeah, that's what that is. That's wild, huh? We did all these movies. That's wild. Any plugs, my love?
Casey is Harry on Instagram.
Casey is Harry on Instagram. You can find me at www.jjcaballero.com. jjcaballero.com. Keep up to date with that, because I'm gonna put up my Mixcloud release soon, and I'm going to put up dates of when we're doing things for MonoStereoVideo and other things that I have in the works. So keep up to date with that. I'll post a bunch of links in the show notes. I'm on Letterboxd. I started updating my list on Letterboxd. I'm gonna do, for next week, I do want to do some sort of ultimate playlist, soundtrack playlist. So I'll be working on that. But yeah, like I said at the beginning of the episode, rate, review, share this. Thank you for listening. Thank you to our international listeners. Thank you guys so much for keeping us going. We like doing this. Thank you, my love, for doing this with me.
It's fun.
We'll listen to you later.